right. Hold on, let me get it out. Come on. Fuck it. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Jamari4 here once again. I know it's been quite some time since we put one of these videos out. Happy New Year. A whole lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to reprioritize stuff to try to get more content out and get more, back into my work here in 2022 to, really make this year work for me career-wise. So we're going to try to make this, put more of this content out. But with further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. This is going to be 3 New Year's 2022 horror stories. So these are going to be horror stories surrounding, going into the new year. I thought it'd be appropriate since it's the first video of the year. So I got my Walter. Let's go ahead and watch this tragedy.
Every new year, a sense of tension curls up in my parents' hearts. I could see their faces suddenly getting worried, especially at this time. Because every new year, my brother Ted comes home. Ted and I are twins, but we're different in so many ways. Though I always tried to love him as a big brother, he never treated me as his little sister. I don't know why, he just can't stand me. The doctors say it's because of his disease. I still remember it was a winter holiday. Ted and I were probably 5 or 6 years old. My dad and I were making snowballs in the garden when I heard my mom screaming. Ted didn't want to play with me, so he was in his room. Hearing her scream, we rushed into the house. We found her standing in Ted's room, panting in fear while Ted sat in the corner with a clueless face. The drawer of Ted's cupboard was pulled open.
What is it, Mary? Why did you scream?
She couldn't say anything. She was shaking in fear like she had seen a ghost. After being like this for a few seconds, my mom pointed at the open drawer. I too looked in, being curious and terrified at the same time. But what we saw...
I feel like it's a gun. Or like a severed head or something.
...in it wasn't something we expected. A dead rabbit was lying inside the drawer.
Oh no, not with the head ripped off. Jesus.
The rabbit was placed onto a woolen scarf with utmost care, as if someone put it to sleep. Except its head and body lay side by side. Yes, its head was cut off. That was the first time my parents realized there was something wrong with my brother. But it's been 10 years. Ted is under treatment now. The doctor said we don't have to be scared of him. They said he's shown improvement and he's ready to come back to the family. So this new year, my dad and I have planned something special for him. It was my idea because no matter how weird he is, he'll always be my brother. We were all waiting in the living room. Ted would be home any minute now. I decorated the entire house. My dad and I made a banner that read, "Welcome home. It's time for a new beginning. Happy New Year, Ted." I was looking at the clock anxiously when we heard a car approaching our driveway. My mom rushed and opened the door. A blue van from Good Heart Mental Institution was seen standing outside our house. After a little pause, the car door slid open, and Ted came out holding his backpack. He'd gotten a new haircut, more like the army men. He walked up to the house porch, and my mom hugged him in joy. "Oh, Ted, you're home, finally."
He don't look too happy to see y'all. He still look a little off. Alright. Does he have like a keeper or something? Like, do they have somebody to monitor him in case he decides to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs again?
"We missed you so much. I've made all your favorite dishes." Ted didn't say a single word. Mom brought him inside, and he stood in the living room silently, like before. Mom and Dad went on to say how extremely happy they were seeing him, but Ted wasn't paying any attention to them. He was scanning the New Year's decorations. His eyes stopped roaming when he noticed the banner.
Did you write that, Martha?
"Yes. Do you like it?"
I don't know what I like anymore.
Our brief conversation made Mom dead quiet. An awkward silence took place inside the house. It was that same feeling again. That same feeling where Ted behaves weirdly and crushes the positivity around the house in a blink. But I'm not a kid anymore. I smiled and said, "Happy New Year, Ted. I missed you."
You did?
"Yeah, we all did. I even cleaned your room with Mom, and I promise you we didn't change a single thing in there. We wanted you to come back to your old room just how you left it."
That means the dead rabbit is back in the drawer, huh?
"Ted, don't talk like that. Why can't you be nice to your sister?"
I'll freshen up. It's been a long time since I've taken a bath like a normal human being. You know, Martha, in that freak house, you can't even get to pee without being watched by a security guard.
Ted went upstairs, and we all just stood there. My dad caressed my cheeks and said,
He's having a rough time, Martha. Things will be all right. I promise.
I smiled painfully because Ted's cruel words did hurt my feelings. When he came down, Mom started to set up the table for dinner. We all sat down to eat. The smell of such delicious food made me hungry. There was roasted pork, grilled chicken, mashed potatoes, corn salad, and shrimp rolls. Everyone ate quietly that night. After dinner, Ted went out for a walk with Dad. Mom and I were cleaning the dishes when we heard our neighbor's voice outside.
Charlie, it's late. Mom wants you home, boy. Charlie, where are you?
We went to our backyard and saw our neighbor, Mr. Hoffman, looking for his 5-year-old son. What happened, Mr. Hoffman?
Have you seen Charlie, Miss McGuire?
No, why?
He was playing right here the entire time, but I can't find him now.
What? What do you mean you can't find him?
I called his friends. He didn't go to their house. I don't know what to do.
My mom suddenly looked at me with scared eyes.
Child, she's like, I know damn well my son did not kidnap this boy and is gonna rip this boy head off just like he did that rabbit. I pray that my son has not done this.
She stared at it for a few seconds, then said, Call your dad, Martha. Tell them to come back right now. Why, Mom, what happened? Just do it! I dialed my dad's number while my mom started to walk upstairs in a very freaky way. She was taking each step slowly, like something frightening was waiting upstairs for her. After informing my dad, I followed her too. She walked to Ted's room and stopped there. Her body was shaking. I felt like she would pass out any minute now. What the hell is going on, Mom? You're scaring me now. Without answering my questions, she opened the door and we entered Ted's room. Everything was in its place, except the white bedsheet was missing. She slowly walked to the bed and crouched down to look under it. She then stretched her hand and pulled out the corner of the white bedsheet under the bed. What is that? There's something in it. I'm not... She pulled the sheet with all her strength, and as soon as she did that, a small, lifeless hand sprung out from that curled-up bedsheet. It wasn't difficult to guess that the hand belonged to a kid. Before we could contemplate this, my dad and brother came rushing upstairs and got shocked seeing our faces.
What happened, Mary?
Just like the previous time, my mom again pointed at the hand of that dead kid.
Wait. Something about this isn't right. Because they were gone. Like, Ted and his dad were gone. Something about this ain't right. Something tells me that this isn't the brother this time. Is it the mama? Was it the dog? Something ain't right. I'm telling you, something ain't right. I could be wrong and looking too much into it, but I just feel like, okay, let's watch.
And my dad looked back at Ted. We all looked at him with fearful faces. It was like history repeating itself.
No, Dad. I didn't do it. Mom, it's not me. Please trust me. Don't send me back there. I didn't do anything. I was innocent last time. I am innocent this time as well. Please believe me. Don't send me away again. I just came home. Please.
My mom started sobbing terribly. Hearing her cry, our neighbors came in, and we found little Charlie dead under Ted's bed. He was strangled with a t-shirt that belonged to Ted. There was nothing we could do. The cops were called and they took him away. I didn't expect Ted to get in such serious trouble. I hope the judge reduces his punishment.
I feel like it was her. I really feel like it was her. She probably framed her brother again because of how he treated her. Because something that's just too easy. It's too easy.
Taking into account his poor mental history, the doctors regret their decision of letting him come back. But they said Ted is accomplished in faking normalcy. He behaved like he was completely sane. I don't know what will happen to him next, but I don't want him to stop visiting us forever. I mean, if he doesn't come home for every New Year celebration, how will I fake normalcy? It's not easy keeping all these exciting thoughts in my head from coming out. I feel a little bad for him, though, since...
I told you. I'm like, that's too easy.
childhood, he's been bearing the consequences of my deeds. He is so gullible. He still doesn't realize it was me who killed that rabbit and put it into his drawer. My hands didn't hesitate for a second when I strangled that poor kid and hid his body under Ted's bed. I just hope my twin brother gets to visit us at least once a year, so that I don't have to pretend to be good for that one day.
I knew it.
Hey guys, I hope you're...
I knew it. I'm like, that's too easy. But, I caught it.
Change your mind later. Enjoy.
All right, let's see. Story number
This
10.
happened on New Year's Eve of 2012. I was in high school, and it was my first big party with my friends. I may not be a celebrity look-alike pulled out from any fashion magazine, but I wasn't bad either. I had a charming smile and always cracked the best jokes at the right times. Though the entire credit goes to my dad because he used to send me huge pocket money. Being a privileged kid, everyone automatically wanted to be my friend, and I kind of took that for granted. My roommate, Jake, was another rich kid, just like me, and we were the dudes of our batch. But even though we were best friends, I disliked a few things about him. One major thing was his way of pranking people. Sometimes, Jake crossed all limits to crack a practical joke. From leaving a bag full of dog poop in front of the dean's office to sticking gum on professors' chairs, he did a bunch of silly things. But that one time, he sent a fake love letter, and things took a downfall from there. We were smoking on our high school roof when we heard two voices. It was after school hours, so we freaked out thinking we were going to get caught. We put out the smoke and tiptoed towards the emergency stairs. The voices were coming from the other side of the roof, so we tried to sneak back into our room without letting anyone know. Jake and I were almost near the stairs when the voices got louder. But you are not getting this.
I don't want to hear anything. This has to stop.
But why? Aren't we having a good time?
What you're calling a good time is nothing but adultery, Joseph.
But Miss Morris, I love you. Your husband has been dead for a while. I'm going to pass out of high school soon. We can have a life together, you know.
No, Joseph, it was all a mistake. Please, don't ever contact me again. I'm just your teacher, and that's it.
We would have listened more, but heavy footsteps started to come close. Jake and I rambled down the stairs like Flash and got inside our room.
Oh, girl, did they just witness the damn teacher fucking her high school student child? Girl. And not the student trying to make a life with the teacher. That's a little backwards, but oof.
This is so sick, dude. Joseph and Mrs. Morris? Let it be, man. It's none of our business anyway. What? Do you have any idea how much fun we can have with this? I already have an idea to make our New Year party memorable. Please, Matt, let it stay between us. I promise it will be a small joke. I should have stopped him, but I didn't. I was no saint, honestly. I too wanted to see Jake's plan, but none of us had the minimum idea that it was indeed going to be the most memorable New Year of our lives. The next day, after class, Jake and I went to the local post office. Jake wrote 2 letters, one for Joseph and the other one for Miss Morris. He then posted them. The letter for Joseph read how much Miss Morris loves him. And
hold on, let's just take a minute to read this, just to see for context. To Joseph, this is the kid. From this teacher, I want to tell you that I love you so much and I wasn't in a good mood last night, but I want to break all the barriers between us and accept our relationship. And I want you to be at the New Year's as I've planned something special for you. But before the party, you must stay away from me and don't contact me to avoid a third-party attention to this matter.
And she wasn't in a good mood last night. But she wants to break all boundaries and accept their relationship. She wants Joseph to be at the New Year party, as she has planned something special for him. But before that party, Joseph must stay away from her and don't contact her to avoid any third-party attention to this matter. In the letter from Miss Morris, there were threats. It read that Miss Morris can't reject Joseph like that. She must meet him at the New Year party, or else he will share all their private texts and pictures with the entire high school. If she tries to talk to him before that, or even informs anyone about this, he will do the same. The plan was pretty simple. They both will come to the party, confront each other, and will realize how someone made a fool of them both. Everything was set up according to the plan. On the eve of New Year, a party was organized at the city town hall. Like every year, all the kids of the town and their parents attended that party. The townspeople were getting drunk and celebrating like crazy. Jake and I punched alcohol in our fruit juice. We were drinking with our friends, standing near the entrance, but our eyes were on the pathway. A few minutes later, we saw Joseph coming with his parents. He was wearing a new suit, probably expecting this night to be the best night of his life. He came in and started to look for Miss Morris. We waited for her, but she was nowhere to be seen. When it was around midnight, and everyone was all set to wish each other a happy new year, we heard a spine-chilling scream. A woman in our neighborhood was standing outside the town hall and staring at the top of it with wide, fearful eyes. We all ran outside.
I can already tell you what's about to happen. So, Mrs. Whomever did not think that what's-his-name joke was very funny, and when someone threatens to practically expose you for grooming and having a relationship with a student as a teacher, you probably wouldn't only get fired, you're probably going to get put on like a sex offender list of some sort, public shame, and she's probably on the roof trying to jump off. Yep, that's what I suspect is about to happen.
As we gathered under the town hall, we saw a horrifying scene. There was a huge clock at the top of the town hall. Under that clock, a woman was standing with a rope tied to her neck.
Told you.
Everyone could guess who she was. It was Miss Morris. Joseph's face turned white. Miss Morris, what are you doing there? A sick yet painful smile appeared on her face. She wiped her face with her hands and said,
I'm fine, Joe. I'm just too tired to go on with this life. I know you love me, and I want to show you how much I love you too. I just can't handle these threats anymore. I have to stop being scared and running away from my feelings.
Come down, please.
Look, it's almost midnight. Count on me. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Miss Morris, please.
This bitch crazy.
That was a prank. Please come down. It was my fault. Jake yelled in panic, seeing his prank going out of hand. But Miss Morris was in a different state of mind. It seemed like she couldn't hear any of us. Everyone started screaming and telling her to come down, as we all could anticipate what she was going to do next. But she didn't give us the time to save her.
Don't worry. It'll all be over now. 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
Her body dangled in the air as she choked for a while. People started screaming in terror, witnessing this horrifying sight. Joseph fainted on the ground, and we couldn't speak. Even though Jake and I told the cops it was a silly prank gone wrong, everyone blamed us for her death. Joseph ran away from home without even finishing high school. It's been 10 years now. Jake and I are not in touch anymore. But every New Year's Eve, I couldn't help but think how things would have been different if we didn't post those letters that day. I wish I could go back in time and change the things we did wrong back then.
Child, she ain't had no business screwing that little boy, no way. She was wrong for it. Child, let me not try to justify somebody jumping off a damn building.
I decided to buy a gift for myself around last New Year's Eve. I didn't have much money saved up after spending it all on gifts and decorations for Christmas. So instead of the mall, I browsed some small mom and pop shops in my neighborhood. In the end, I stumbled across an old antique shop I'd never seen before. Upon entering, I was met with entire shelves full of weird and wonderful curios with highly affordable prices. Yet amongst all those fancy antiques, it was a simple leather notebook that appealed to me the most. I don't know what it was about it that drew me to it. Maybe it looked so plain and simple compared to everything else that it paradoxically became impossible to miss. The moment I picked it up and saw the $5 price tag, I knew what my next New Year's present to myself was going to be. I brought the notebook to the counter, where a kindly old man scanned and bagged it for me. "You have a good eye, lad." Not everyone appreciates the work it once took to create books by hand, especially leather ones. Thank you. Yeah, I was thinking about writing my New Year's resolutions in it. Oh, I'm sure whatever you write in this book will come true one way or another. Old items like these have a certain magic to them, you know.
Girl, is it about to be like Death Note? Or anything he writes in the book is gonna come true, child? He gonna write somebody that he don't like to die and they're gonna end up dead?
I wasn't sure what the heck the man meant by that, but I laughed the comment off, paid him $5, and thought about what I was going to write in the notebook once I got home. Once I was home, I sat down on my work desk and started writing the first 5 things that came to my mind about what I wanted to improve in myself. 1, eat less junk food. 2, lose weight. 3, spend less money on my girlfriend.
Not less money on. Is she a gold digger or something?
4, spend more time with mom. 5, get that promotion at work. When I tried to close the notebook, I ended up accidentally giving myself a paper cut on the edge of a page. I pulled my hand back in mild surprise, and the blood from my thumb dropped onto the page where I wrote my New Year's resolution. The red blood seeped into the white page and immediately disappeared. A little odd, but I brushed it off and went to bed.
The fuck?
New Year's Eve came and went. And like most people on the first day of January, I completely forgot about the resolutions I'd made and went back to my old habits of eating McDonald's on a regular basis. As if to punish me for my lack of resolve, I became involved in an accident within the first week of the new year. I was walking on the sidewalk one morning on my way to work when a wrench flew into the side of my face. Apparently, a guy was fixing his car and forgot to take one of his wrenches from the roof of his car before continuing to drive. So when he drove and made a fast, sharp turn near me, the wrench went flying from the car and straight into my face. The impact shattered my entire lower jaw.
What? How did it have that much force? What?
I felt my teeth fly out of my mouth before falling onto the ground and choking on my own blood. Luckily for me, there were bystanders around, and they quickly called an ambulance for me. I spent the next week in the hospital getting my jaw reconstructed. The doctors were able to patch me up pretty well, though they told me I'd have to live off a liquid diet for the rest of the year, or more. As you can imagine, I took some time off work in order to recover at home. I was in constant pain because of my injury and lost so much weight that I looked like a skeleton. But it was made bearable by my wonderful girlfriend, who visited me almost every day. I made a mental note to buy her something nice for her upcoming birthday.
Girl, that blood made it feel like you're going to have a blood pact. The moment you stop doing what you said you was going to do, now you can't eat that junk food because you're on a liquid diet. And because of that, now you've lost that weight that you wanted to lose. And now you're supposed to spend less money on your girlfriend. Now, here's the thing. He's trying to get her like a birthday gift. Like, that should be normal. He said spend less money. He didn't say spend no money. So I'm like, is he going to get punished for this too?
To thank her for everything. Then, one night, as I was laying in bed watching TV, I received a phone call that changed everything. It was from the police. And though I couldn't say much to them with my broken jaw, I was able to understand everything they said clearly. My girlfriend had been murdered. A mugger had stabbed her in the stomach while she was on her way to my house. The grocery bags she'd been carrying when police found her were filled with drinks, yogurt, and other liquid foods, stuff that she no doubt intended to bring to me while I recovered from my injuries. The worst part was I couldn't even give a speech at her funeral because of my messed up jaw. When I got home after the funeral, I noticed something I'd completely forgotten. The notebook where I'd written my New Year resolutions lay forgotten on my living room coffee table. I had intended to record my progress on my resolutions on it, but I'd forgotten to do so after everything that had happened. Needing a distraction from my grief, I picked up the notebook and was shocked to find that it had changed without me knowing. 3 of the 5 resolutions I'd written, eat less junk food, lose weight, and spend less money on my girlfriend, had been crossed off by what looked like red ink that gave off a metallic scent like blood. The connection between it and my recent tragedies clicked in my mind. My first resolution was to eat less junk food, and my accident forced me to eat nothing but liquid foods. That then directly caused my second resolution, to lose weight, to come true. Then finally my third resolution, the one I regret most of all, to spend less money on my girlfriend, came true with her dying while trying to help me cope with my condition. I tried to burn the book in hopes that it'll break whatever curse it had on me, but it was fireproof. I tried ripping out the page where I wrote the resolution, but the words simply appeared on the next page instead, no matter how many times I tore them out.
Wow.
When it became clear that I couldn't destroy the book, I thought that I could avoid whatever sick plans it had in store for me by fulfilling the resolutions myself before it could force them on me. My fourth resolution had been to spend more time with my mom, so I immediately got into my car and made a mad dash for the quiet town where my mother retired. It was raining heavily in the town by the time I got there, and my mind was still foggy from the effects of the painkillers that kept my body functional. I didn't notice the old lady crossing the street until I ran her over with my car on the dark road. Upon realizing what happened, I rushed out to help her, even though I knew it was already too late. She'd been nearly torn in two by the wheels of my car. Half of her body was on the right side of the road, and the other was on the left. Lengths of intestines and mushed up organs were splattered across the asphalt while the blood washed.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. See, this is why I don't even make New Year's resolutions. I just try to, I make them mentally. Okay, I just try to, have a better mindset, more positive mindset. In general, that kind of leaks into everything. So, did you just run your mama over?
Washed away in the rain. But the worst part was her face. Not because of how mutilated it was, but because it was unharmed enough for me to recognize her. Looking up at me with glassy dead eyes in the middle of the road was the corpse of my own mother. I drove away from the gruesome scene in my panic, and the rain washed away any evidence of my crime from the car.
Ooh.
When I received the phone call about my mother's death the next day, I wasn't surprised. Her will asked her to be buried in the backyard of the house she raised me in, the same house as the one that I was currently living in. Since then, every second I stayed in the house was spent with my mother just outside my door. My fourth New Year's resolution had been fulfilled, though not in the way I'd ever wanted to. There is only one uncrossed resolution left in the notebook now. Get that promotion at work. Considering the notebook's track record, I can only assume that I'll kill all my rival co-workers at work to ensure that I get the promotion. After what happened with my mother, I know that just working harder won't allow me to make the resolution come true without someone I know dying for it. So, before that can happen, I am going to kill myself. This story is my confession and suicide note. Nobody else should have to suffer for what I wrote in that notebook. Let me be the last victim of my own selfish wishes.
Oh, Lord, have mercy. That was a lot. I still was curious to see how that was going to fulfill that prophecy or whatever with the get the promotion, but child. Ooh, well, y'all tell me what y'all thought about that, child. The 3 New Year's resolutions. Ooh, I'll catch y'all later. What's up?